was interesting. Um, so what are the challenges found out? So we don't have the normal campus ecosystem. Do you know how much investment has been put in for undergraduates with student health and student wellness and psychological services, and you hurt your knee and it only costs 100 rand to go to the physio? So what we also found is that exchange students were affected disproportionately. Imagine I'm telling you, the whole time I've been telling you, go somewhere you don't know, unfamiliar territory, march into the unknown. And then imagine you do that. You go all the way to Hong Kong and you're like, yes, I'm going to a new country. I'm the only person from South Africa here. Oh, sorry, you have to stay in your room for 6 months. Well, that's not nice. Okay? Across the entire office. But it's password 123. Why don't you know? You're the one who gave it to me. So please don't be that guy or that lady. Okay. So that was something that was shocking that came out of this. And also ICOS, violation of the sacredness of the home. So it's your house, but now it's being disrupted by learning from home. The benefits of the learning from home, it's happened again now. I don't know. Okay, so the benefits, I'm sure you know what that is. The people overseas were blown away by this when I presented in Oxford. You know what that is? Okay, map of Gauteng with the voting results. So when I showed this to people overseas, they just couldn't accept that where you live defines who you vote for. And it was just mind-blowing for them. So the demographics are different depending on where you live, and physical costs are a very big burden for certain people, more so than others. So the benefits of COVID, it's more collaborative. People had to speak more often and more deliberately. That should be less sigma. That's less stigma, okay? So if you, in 2005, if you said, no, I'm going to student psychological services, people would look at you like, really? Like, are you psycho? Ugh. Okay, but during COVID, we were all in it together. I'm in the line at SPAR, and we're standing there, and everyone is standing apart. And then we've got Monster energy drinks. Buy the energy drinks, it fights the virus. Oh, sorry. And then after the third person dropped, everyone started busting out laughing because everyone was like, and everyone was dropping things, and we all started laughing at each other. So it's okay. Do you have a dentist? I shouldn't point at anyone, sorry. Does someone here have a dentist? Yes, I'm sure you have a dentist. Do you service your car? Okay, so servicing a car, C-Class, A4, B, or 3 Series is 10,000 Rand, 12,000 Rand. ECG with consultation is 1,700 Rand. Much more difficult to replace your heart. Get it checked out. You're young. After 30, do it every 5 years. Why not? So, get a psychologist. Everyone should have one. It's the only person without a conflict of interest. Anyway, but my point is, that's reference number 27. I've really gone on a tangent. Okay, so more social presence from lecturers because it's not only 6 hours a week consultation time. Asynchronous communication. This is something major that has come out of COVID, which I'm seeing now as well in the telecommunications industry. How many people take a phone call from a number they don't recognize? It's finished. Really? Yo, I was not expecting that from young people. Okay, but if I see a number I don't recognize, I won't answer. And if you want to message me, you can message me and I'll respond when I respond. Asynchronous communication. You don't need to call the person, disrupt what they're doing, talk to them. You can send them a message, they can respond in an hour. But anyway, and then I already talked about physical costs. Yes?
I have a problem with that concept, though, especially if you're a student and you're seeking.
Thank you. Especially if you're a student and you're seeking employment, I don't think ignoring calls is the way to go, because that could be a call that could change your life. So just take the call, hear them out. If you're not interested,
It could also be the call where they say they want to sell you things that I've gotten calls from EFF and AfriForum. I've got calls from with you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, no. What I'm saying is, I like AfriForum and EFF are on completely different sides of the political spectrum. I got calls from both of them. It's like, where did you get my number? Now, no, definitely. But what I'm saying is, yes, okay.
I'm inclined to agree with her because professional setting. If I don't pick up my calls like people, my numbers everywhere on the company website. I get calls from people I don't know. So during the day, I get a lot of marketers calling me, and I get a lot of people that are looking for help from the organization. So I don't have the privilege not to answer my phone.
But there, if you download an app like Truecaller, you have 90% of your spam calls covered that you can see. This is not a call that I want to answer.
I think the next lecture we can do can be about Truecaller because I know things. No, but honestly, on that note, when it comes to Truecaller, they go into your phone and they label your contacts. They can draw that information. So what right do they have to put somebody else's label on my number? So we're all adults here, but what about teenagers? 15, 16 years old. Do they know what they're agreeing to? Is that informed consent when they put Truecaller on their phones? What right do they have? If someone goes and labels them something I won't say because I'm a censor myself, and then they're teenagers, they're very sensitive. And then they call their friends, oh, look, so you got labeled as this, oh, you're a pervert, something like that, So, yeah, I get it. I'm getting pushback. I thought everyone would embrace this not answering phone calls. No, but there is a court case going on to ban Truecaller in South Africa. But I think as an individual, it's great. But I mean, as long as you're not on the wrong end of the stick. But this is a 45-minute discussion. Anyone have anything else they want to say about answering phone calls? Yes, sir.
I would say it depends on your position in a company or as an individual. Because if you're a student that's looking for a job, every single call you get, you'll probably answer it. If you are a lecturer who works from this time to this time, you know that after this time, any call you don't recognize, you probably won't answer it. And if you're a professional, then you will answer it based on who or like what is calling you and which phone they call from. So that's how I would see it in terms of answering phone calls.
Sorry, I didn't mean to rush you there. Yeah, look, it depends, definitely. If you're looking for a personal device from a work device, which includes unemployed work. Okay, so if we split it in half, does anyone disagree with the line there? No one? Okay, cool.
But then you get students who call at 3 a.m.
I have had that. I don't give number, I create a Telegram group. And somehow, and I make it clear, please, we communicate on the group, no private messages. I cannot entertain 400 students privately. And then you get people on the day of the test, calls at 3 hospitals. I will wake up and see who's calling.
So look, I think the short answer is it depends on the circumstance. Yes, definitely. The only people who had my number were the class reps because it's actually not fair. So, are we giving equal access to everyone? This was 12 years ago. So we said, okay, well listen. Okay, then the challenges we found from asking the MBA students, once again, the international people were blown away when they saw that chart. That's Eskom's push. And they're like, really? You don't have electricity? Really? And also another thing that was really funny is the conference, it was at Oxford at St. Anne's. It was the London International Conference on Education. And the session they put me in was about inclusive education. So there was a lady from Kuwait talking about disabled students and mathematics. There was another person talking about the Hispanic community in Texas and their inclusion. Then there was another person from Australia talking about Aborigines. And then I rock up talking about executive MBA students. And I'm like, I feel really out of place. It's like exclusive education. We're not being inclusive. And then one thing which came out of that was physical infrastructure, nobody complained. If you're at the level where you've got an MBA, then you've got a laptop and you've got a phone, and some people have Porsches as well, not me. But yeah, the only problem with infrastructure was being aware of when the power was going to go out. And then people said that they would lie about technological issues that say that they've got load shedding, but then there's a Facebook or a Twitter or whatever X it's called now, post about them skydiving in Paris. So when your camera's off, also a lack of consequence. And also it disrupted the home because the little 5-year-old is wondering why they can't get attention. Before I go to the next slide, the thing which happened to me with the work from home and the learn from home, my dogs would just stare at me because I'm such a workaholic. I'd leave the house before dawn and I get home after dark. And then during COVID, they just sit there and look at me and wondering, what is this guy doing here? Okay, that's going to come through in the next 2 slides. But also lack of engagement. This was my favorite quote from the whole study, is it's easier to zone out in an audiobook and miss 5 sentences versus reading an actual book. I have to pay attention. If I stop reading the lines, it's not going to read itself. The book doesn't read itself. Okay, learning from peers, okay? Building rapport, cohesion. Part of what you pay for when you do an MBA or you come to university is your peers and getting exposed to them. So you need to have that sort of a crowd and making a statement. So I don't think that as undergraduates, you recognize how privileged you are to be in this environment. So if you go to accounting firm, you talk to accountants. If you talk to, I can go on. Engineers talk to engineers. This is the level of intellectual diversity you have in a university will never be matched at any other point in your life. You're in the food court and you walk across the food court and there's a lady there and she's doing her master's in feminist interpretations of Frankenstein. And then, oh, I'm being serious. I read 3/4 of her thesis. It was an hour 45 minutes. Discussion. Very interesting. She's married to one of my friends from high school now. But yeah, you want where are we going to be able to find anyone in Midrand who can have a conversation about feminist interpretations of Frankenstein? No? Okay, no, we're not. It's very, it was actually very interesting. Google Mary Shelley and Frankenstein. It's very interesting. Anyway, so going on to the benefits of the learning from home, travel time, MBA is don't have the ecosystem that you have as undergraduates. So safety, you don't have to drive at 9 o'clock at night. You don't have to look physically appropriate, although I think you should, even if you're on camera. And exam anxiety, you can set up your exam venue the night before. You don't know what's going to happen between the venue and now, and when you get to the venue. So this morning, I actually had a warning on my dashboard, and I'm like, oh, ish. But I managed to get here, so it's fine. But that happened to me. This is very important lesson. That is my dog. He doesn't want me to go to work in my Mercedes. And then this is my dog who doesn't want me to go to work in my Audi. And I had to actually physically pick him up and take him out. Now, I've had a Mercedes and I've had an Audi. Very important life lesson. Where have a blended approach. So if we want to talk about South Africa's future as an economic leader in Africa, that should definitely be in person, because everyone here will probably have a different opinion and we must engage in systematic exchanges of dialogue. And but if you want to talk about how to reference APA 7, that can probably be remote, because we're not going to have a debate about where the comma should be. Equally important discussions though. Okay, then basically the conclusion was I already said that it's an online exam. The reason I was 6 minutes late is because I was watching the Australian Grand Prix. And I got up and I went and I sat down and I wrote the exam and I got 78. Once again, no one cares. But the point is, how much anxiety would I have had if I had to go to the venue and drive in traffic and something could go wrong, the dog could jump in the car, all sorts of things. Okay, so closing and thanks. I spoke to you about the unique needs of yourselves as information students, technology, computer science, whatever you want to call it, students. Then I talk about learning from home and share the experiences of the MBA class. The three organizations I'm affiliated with is T-Forge, the company where I'm CIO, the Gordon Institute of Business Science, where I did my MBA, and I'm a professional member of IIT PSA, which Calvin's going to talk about now. But open time for questions. Well, what time is it? I don't know what time it is. Okay, so I think, what's the program? What is this? Is this mine? No, okay, I don't know. There it is. The program says we've got until 11:05, so I think let's give time for questions, and then Calvin can talk about student membership afterwards. There was a question from right here. 1 and 2, yes. No, you're number 1.
Thank you very much. Regarding the work from home, the second part of your presentation, one of the things that NLPs.
I remember, thanks for the question. I remember at 1999, UCT was talking about banning the internet on campus because people misuse the library. And of all the dinosaurs, UCT is probably the slowest when it comes to change. I was there for a decade, so I know. Questions and process questions and controls need to come in place because of use ChatGPT to check that you've covered everything. Very personal now. Very personal. The best 6 days of my life in the last 15, 20 years, as far back as I can remember. 26th of December 2022 till 1st of January 2023. I drove from Johannesburg to Cape Town via Uppington and Calvinia and Brownflay and places twee buffels met inschop stood Skidsfontein. Population 2000. 2000. Critical. Did you even read this? Come on. Okay. Next question.
Are getting used to this online and they're not comfortable to come to class. And therefore we find ourselves now saying, okay, let's go blended way where we can even with our first years to say, please come to class. Be there face to face. Let them reach out.
Well, I think if they're not pushing up because they want to be blended, that's better because when we didn't, not we,
That will be expected.
you must be there. 8, 7, depending on the circumstances. That everyone, I didn't mention it because I didn't want to traumatize the people, but everyone said that was the biggest adjustments. There's no, I can plan my lectures and I can choose to start at 11 o'clock on a Friday and I can sleep in. No, if you must be there at 8, you must be there at 8. Now, I'll come to you now. In coming here, I've never been to this part.
As a person, you feel like you could have done on your own, but for you to wake up at 8 a.m. and the lecturer is just reading slides, just reading, they're explaining the slides, but they're explaining the example that is on the slide instead of giving another example, which defeats the whole purpose of going to class.
Well done.
Now, firstly, if you run in front of a car, you get tired. If you run behind the car, you get exhausted. Okay, but in all seriousness, in response to what you're saying, look beyond your complaint. Firstly, first I made a joke. Secondly, no one there was a hand back there. Yes, okay, go for it.
Um, my response is all for contribution to her. So give me a question all the time.
I mean, advance and you can go through them, you can come with questions. But it also depends on the circumstance. If you've never been exposed to APA 7 before and you want to go through that, Hong Kong the nature is always just reciting slides or whatever. Right and wrong is a point of view. I'm not dodging the question. You see, that's what I said. I said it earlier. before you diagnose yourself with depression and low self-esteem, make sure you're not surrounded by. Okay? So yes, or the quitting, that is bad. Don't go there. At the attendance register, you must attend. No one is telling you not. I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying go, because the most important lessons happen outside the classroom. So yes, your lecturer might have been tired and just reading, but then a conversation starts about that. You form connections with your peers.
Sometimes it's even healthier to have a conversation, even with your lecturer. Like you are talking to your elder sister, your mother, your brother, whatever. To say, can't we do it this way because the way which is being done we don't understand, or can we do it this way? Just communication, I think, is very important, and it can help for progress.
Back with you. Oops.
I just want to ask how necessary important is it as an individual, like personal projects that you
To that interview, you'll have things to talk about. So I think it was 30th of April 2001. It was a Sunday. It was the Brazilian Grand Prix. Since then, I have not missed a single Formula One race. And then who I support determines that, and it starts a whole conversation and a dialogue. Okay? If you're calligraphy, Formula One. I'm trying to think of more examples. The one thing which really surprised me and maybe wrong for me to say this, but I'm telling you this, and it's my own personal experience. Don't listen. That's
as in life changing. Because
okay. Well, when I listed my experiences, one of them was TMS, Taylor assistance to anyone. IT advice. People want to buy a laptop. People want their laptop repaired. People deleted something by accident. It was enough work that I could say, here's the substantial effort. I'm putting it on my CV, or I'm introducing myself about it. People knew me across campus. If you make a system like we built something for a company called Pimp My Book, and literally think of your textbooks. It's a cycle.
What is, what are the important things that technology companies are looking for as an individual when it comes to what stands out to and I also did ask how do you, if you do make a project and you think it's significant, how do you put it out there?
Okay, what are employers looking for? There's no answer to that question. It's vast, it's wide. I would say get your degree, make sure your marks are good, make sure you're an interesting person, and when you go to the interview, you can have an interesting conversation with the interviewer. And then if you've got a nice project and it's there, and you want to get it out there, there are innovation hubs, there's venture capital. I would say because you're in university, there should be some sort of department which can give you advice and say, let's have some sort of Kickstarter. Do you have a system or something? No, no, okay. But if you do, maybe venture capital, sort of fine motor skill, cerebral palsy, they need physiotherapy like 6 hours a day. And the kids get dropped off there, and then the parents pick them up in the evening. And it's basically they're just there. There's no formal curriculum. They can't like walk properly, and the facial expressions, it's quite bad. It's cerebral palsy. Then we went there to try and help them, and we realized you can't. I mean, you need physiotherapy degrees. What can we do? So we made a lab with four PCs, and we taught the nurses computer literacy. For everyone else, I must work for.
So concerning projects to upload, you can use GitHub, Programming Hub, and also LinkedIn. And concerning which programs are the most basic projects you have, just upload them there and create as many as possible. Even the tiniest achievements from a basic Python certificate to an advanced Python certificate, I recommend uploading everything that you create there. Because
I haven't actually coded since 20, no. Yeah, I'm not, well, programming isn't my thing, but I mean, I was a programming lecturer, but in the industry, I haven't done much programming. Okay, I think Calvin needs to do his part now. So I think, one more question, or should we just hand over to Calvin? Okay, there's one more question.
I actually wanted to ask, like, in your profession, what does like a normal day of work look like? Like, do you wake up? Now, I'm actually surprised when you say that you haven't coded since 2016. Because I thought like when you do IT, you wake up.
A programmer will you're gonna sit and you're gonna spend 8 hours a day also so so okay. I won't pull out say it. Truecaller gave us drama over the weekend, so we had to fight with them. It wasn't a cyber attack. That was two issues happening in parallel. So as far as fourth cyber attack happened on the weekend, had major problems upstream and they didn't tell anyone. It's like ESCOM without the app to tell you when the power's going out. How can you manage that? So it changes every day. You have to be dynamic. So, but that's in my role. As a business analyst, you'll deal a lot with you. It's actually not my responsibility. I haven't gone and designed a logo. I haven't gone and designed a business card. Well, so what? I don't know how to make sushi. I see it as the same. So it's not relevant to my job. I can carry on. But I think let me hand over to Calvin. Thank you. You've been a great audience. Appreciate it. Or must I just hand over or you want to do an introduction? Okay, great. Okay, great, thanks.
Thank you, sir. I wish there was something to hold the mic. I feel like I passed. Let me just find my notes. This sermon is not going to preach itself, like someone said. Okay, so I'm going to talk about something totally different. That was very academic and very great. I enjoyed it myself. So my name is Kelvin Nhlapo from IIT PSA, which is the Institute of Information Technologies Professionals SA. Now, by a show of hands, who knows what that is? Yeah, this is good. Nobody knows this is. Oh, no. Professor there, professor there. That's a cheat code you knew. So Saba knows with Cornell registering the university to become a member of the institute. So let me give you a brief. The Institute of Information Technology Professional South Africa. I say this every day. This is embarrassing. We've been around since 1957. I don't think there's any anybody in this room was born in 1957. I mean, not me, even with the gray hair, I'm not that old. So we've been around, this should read, registered non-profit since 1958. We have members in all the 9 provinces in South Africa, totaling up about 10,000 plus, and our head office is in Midrand and GP. We have members everywhere. A little bit difficult. The institute. So today I want to talk about professionalism. There was a very sorry, let's go back. Yeah, let's stay here. There was someone, yes, in the black t-shirt.
Someone who's been paid to grace specific tasks.
Please. Seriously, I'm going to the office, I wear my sneakers and jeans and the t-shirt. You can see all my tattoos, but you can't even see one of my tattoos today. And like, what are the standards you can see and that's why you guys are at school. You have to have the skills. That's why you do all those projects together. If you work in the back end, it doesn't matter what you wear. You know this, right? Performance and goals. You know, if you're given a task, you have a deadline. Code of conduct. So professionalism, code of conduct, and ethics, very important. Go together. You know, we could do with a lot of ethics in this country. So who benefits from professionalism? So let's take a picture, right? Or you're going to Cape Town. And let's just take a few guys from the corner there and say, guys, we're building a bridge. Let's go build a bridge. Would you be comfortable driving across that bridge? Okay, so that's it's us, you know, as a society, as a people, we are the ones who benefit from professionalism. So engineers must build a bridge or building a shopping center, a road. Professionalism of your lecture in this campus. And you most of activities are powered and supported by the members themselves. Like Saba here came to do this. With ICT to say ICT as the career path. You understand? So how do we do that and why? It's because we want to give you as a student, while you're studying, you know you're going to get in the industry, fine. You already made your choice. You're here at tertiary. But we want to give you a window into the industry itself as it's happening right now. So you become what we call a student member. All right. So a student member to a professional body, you do that because we call special interest groups. I'll give you an example. We have cyber security, innovation, and those groups are by professionals who are actually working in the industry right now. And you can ride on their coattails and look